All right, everyone. Welcome to this daily Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for Thursday, December 21st, 2017. And this video is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out that link down below. We're using the actual size of the constellations, which does change the signs from mainstream astrology. All right, so today the moon is shifting into Capricorn and we have the sun over Saturn. So a lot of maybe serious energy today. It's a quite grounded day, most certainly, with these two energies. So really good too with Capricorn, first of all, is see the big picture, be willing to take our time with things. I think naturally we will have this sort of reserve and disciplined energy available today. So really good to utilize that, find some balance with it. And with the sun conjunct Saturn, maybe a bit of awareness about our limitations in life, that we can work within limitations. In fact, when we do that, it's amazing what we can create and develop and focus on. So those are the two most important things. We also have the moon squaring Mars. So let's look at all of this here in more detail when we return. All right, here's the sky for this Thursday. So we had this new moon very early in the week on Monday. We're still very much in the early phases of the cycle. Good to take heed of that. Great time to just be slowly but surely building some momentum in our life, especially if it's in regards to any new insights you've had last week and or early this week that you do want to cultivate into the future. Might be a long-term future, as in a year, maybe more with Saturn. But really for this lunar month. So that was in a fucus. It was and still very much is a healing time. Very good for connecting to any wounds that do come up, any fears, doing this healing. A lot of the deeper healing has already been done, but we do have Venus going over the galactic center, and we still have Mercury retrograde in Scorpio. So with this, particularly with Venus, relationships transforming this week, our perspective of them transforming, maybe letting some things go regarding them, but that might be more so tomorrow going into the weekend, but still good to do that healing and dive deep with relationship matters. And fundamentally what's changing with this will be our values. Our values are collectively changing. So Mercury still retrograde, is going to go direct starting tomorrow and into Saturday. So things are slowing down with maybe the work and routine, which is good. Kind of take a pause for a second and maybe reflect on what we've learned the past 3 weeks with this, that will start to move forward once Mercury goes direct. And that also, of course, does involve communication, learning, all these practical things in life that might be slowing down the mind, communication, things like this. All right, so that's the backdrop. So let's take a look at this moon in Capricorn today specifically. I think there is this reserve about the day. This is a collective sort of backdrop or theme of the day, and we could be feeling this emotionally, maybe a bit reserved, maybe serious, quite grounded though, right? So good to do things that do require commitment, do require a long-term perspective, right? And do require time there. So good to embody these qualities with Capricorn. And that's really the case anyways, because we have the sun going over Saturn. Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, very much associated with the same thing. But in this case, these are two planets coming together, which can reflect an aspect of our personality being developed. And I think this aspect of our personality with this particular conjunction is maybe a bit of, again, working within limitation. When Saturn comes along, it's always like, okay, here's what you've got, or here's your situation, or here's the reality of things. Work within those limitations and see what you can create, which is the sun energy. The sun is our creative life force. It is what we're focused on, and it is that passion as well. But when Saturn comes over here, it kind of dims it, limits it a bit. Right, but for a reason, right? Saturn gets a bad rap about, only, creating limitation for the sake of limitation. That's not it. Saturn actually does produce results the same way Jupiter does in the sense of the outcome, but the process is different. And the process of Saturn is that of seeing what can be created within structure, within limitations, right? Whereas Jupiter will give you whatever you want, so to speak, and you kind of figure it out based on a bunch of options or that inspiration Saturn's the opposite of that. It's, here's what you've got, here's your reality, work within that. And it's amazing what we can do when we do have limitations on us, right? It's amazing how resourceful we get. It's amazing what we see, what we try to do through that effort that we'd otherwise never do if it just came easy. Like if we just won the lottery. It's like, well, most of the time we win lottery, we spend it, right? Those that win the lottery usually are back to where they were within a few years. So with Saturn, it's the earning of it. And there's a special quality of this, of what happens when we actually earn our keep or earn our way, right? It becomes more grounded, more stable. So this type of thing, if there's anything today that you do want to take serious, that is a long-term commitment or something that you want to develop and work on, whether it's about yourself, maybe it's externally like your career, relationships, or something like this, really good to see that this is in many ways a sort of yearly new beginning with this. Yearly new beginning of more of the long-term perspective on whatever it is we're focused on. So this is, of course, in Sagittarius, I do want to mention, and this is important because Saturn has recently entered Sag, suggesting that all of 2018, all of 2019 will be about building our inspirations. Will be about building the things we want to see in the future in our life path. So it could be about inspirational things about the future. It just may require, with Saturn, that disciplined, patient, and long-term approach to things. All right, so really good to do that. If there's a limitation to your self-expression, again, same sort of thing, good to work within that and express ourselves in that grounded, practical, long-term, disciplined sort of way. All right, so that's the most important thing today, but the moon is going to be squaring up to Mars, so there could be a bit of, maybe a lot of Mars exuberance. I mean, with all this grounded energy, Mars is that fire energy, a masculine side of ourselves. So if there are strong needs, strong desires today, maybe bringing some extra attention to the self just to keep everything nice and balanced so we're not rash or impulsive or anything like that, reacting with our feelings, our emotions, if anything does sort of activate us like that. Okay, but good for taking action nonetheless. Again, we are in the early phases of this cycle, so things are slowly but surely moving forward. And I think today, just that grounded approach, long-term, patient, disciplined approach to whatever it is we are focused on or is taking place in our environment. All right, so have a great day, everyone. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the daily forecast.